Saravá Eshu, Saravá Povo da Rua. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is James. I am a Quimbadeiro, a Tatainquisi and Palo, and an Abo Orisha, which means worshiper of Orisha. Today, I wanted to talk about the tools of the Quimbadeiro, or the tools of the Ngangalero. So what I mean when I say that is, what are the tools of a practitioner who has their spirits received in Quimbanda, in the African Brazilian tradition of Quimbanda? Okay, so today I am in my terreiro, in the terreiro that I have with my partner, where we have all of our spirits, all of the Eshus and the Pombageiras. I actually have my camera set up right now in between my Ngangas. So you as a viewer are actually watching me in between my two spirits. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, so I am in the terreiro today just to talk to you guys. There is not an actual door on the terreiro. We have cloths, a few cloths hanging. And my backyard is right next to the highway barrier, so of a major highway. So if there's a little background noise, or if I'm not speaking clearly at some point throughout the video, let me just go ahead and apologize now in the beginning of the video. But I will do my best to enunciate and to speak as clearly as I can to you guys. My message, especially with Quimbanda, my message as a man, as a spiritual person, is all about community, is all about coming together and spreading wisdom and spreading knowledge. So with that being said, there are some things that of course are secret, but there is some things that we can talk about. So pardon me. I may smoke at some point throughout this video just because I was in here earlier and my spirits have me super hyped up right now, and so yeah, it may happen. Alright, so tools of the Quimbadeiro, tools of the Ngangalero, the person that has Eshu and Pombagira received. We're going to talk about two different types of tools because that's really what is coming to my mind first and just like off the bat. So you have tools that are inside of yourself, inside of your body. Those are going to be tools that come from your body becoming a spiritual instrument. Then we have physical, mundane, if you will, practical. I mean, they're no longer mundane if you're using them for spiritual purposes, because that in and of itself, when that tool becomes dedicated to a spirit, generally speaking, one spirit specifically, but it could also be used for any of the spirits that are in that court of worship or all that follow underneath that religion, in this case Quimbanda. So, and what I mean by that is, like, not every spirit needs a maraca, not every spirit needs a bell. You can use your tools for all of your spirits, which is, what makes them tools. But generally speaking, like, this is my maraca for Eshu Sete Pedras, and this is my bell for Pombagira da Calunga. So I use these as tools to communicate with all of my spirits, to call all of my spirits when I'm doing work with them and things of that nature. So we have tools inside of ourselves, and we have tools that we can use in the physical world to help get us to that connection or that communication, that level of communication that we want to have with our spirits. So, first and foremost, let's go ahead and talk about, I'm just gonna, I'm surrounded by all of my stuff right now, and I feel like my spirits are definitely like listening to me and watching me. And before this video, I had a little moment with them to kind of let them know what would be going on today. So my mind is a little like just all over the place, and I'm trying to focus for the purposes of making this video. And it is a little difficult at times. So I do apologize if I seem all over the place. I'm a very passionate person. I'm a very passionate Quimbadeiro. And when I get in front of my spirits, they really just like they just get me going in a multitude of ways. Okay, so tools of the Quimbadeiro. First and foremost, we're going to talk about musical tools that the Quimbadeiro will predominantly use. And I was going to try and break that up into 2 different sections. But given that I'm all over the place, I'm just going to talk about tools, and then we will just kind of label them as a tool outside or inside. All right, so basic tools. You have the maraca. You have vainas. You have bells, obviously drums, a staff. My staff is actually outside of the terreiro. I use it before I come inside to call my spirits and to awaken them before I even come into the terreiro. So that's where my Quimbanda stick is that I use to call my spirits with. So you have a bell, the maraca, your voice, of course, as the instrument of prayer, as the instrument of song, to call your spirits down, to give that as an offering from yourself. So just any type of musical instrument can be used to get the attention of your spirits. In the absence of those things, what we use is our hands. We knock on the table, on the nganga, we knock on the floor, and that is how you can salute your spirits or open a session with your spirits for divination or for witchcraft, and use them or work with them rather in that manner, using your tools, not your spirits. You work with your spirits, we use tools. So this is a tool that went through my initiation ceremony. It is a little pitchfork. This is also definitely a tool of the Quimbadeiro. This tool can be used for a variety of things. It can be used to excite the person spiritually, be that by running it along their body. This is, it can be, definitely rough. It is made out of metal depending on how hard you want to apply pressure there. So it can definitely be used to excite the spirit by exciting the physical body. This tool can also be used to tap on the nganga as the Quimbadeiro is speaking with their ngangas, for instance. This tool is used for both of my spirits. I do have another pitchfork, but that is not for me. That is just on one of my ngangas, charging, waiting, most likely to be given at some point to someone as a tool of their own when they become initiated. So this tool did go through my ceremony, so I do use this quite frequently. This comes really in handy anytime I light my spirits up. That is to say that I set the ngangas on fire. I use this tool to, just kind of contain things and move things around on the nganga as they burn and as they cool off and settle back down. So very, very important tool right here that I keep on my Eshu Sete Pedras. So another tool that I wanted to speak on, and this is a physical tool, but it is also a spiritual tool. And what I mean by that is that these are the means by which we communicate with the spirit. They are the shells that have been washed with my spirits. These are the shells that have been fed to my spirits. These are the shells that Eshu and Pombagira use to communicate with me through. Beyond these shells, there is also the connection that the Quimbadeiro has with their spirits. Eshu and Pombagira, once you are initiated, when you begin working with them, I say once you're initiated, but you can work with Eshu and Pombagira in many, many ways, even as an uninitiated person. You do that in one of two ways. You have a personal practice with them that you begin developing, where you begin calling them and introducing yourself to generic Eshu. I say generic, but that's to mean without specificity. So that means that your spirit has not been marked yet. So you're going to be calling on Eshu more as an archetypal force in your life to begin working with him. And the same with Quimbadeiro. So the tools of the shells then are the physical means for the spirit to communicate with to you a yes or no response. We do divination for many things within the realm of Quimbanda. But simply put, if I were to get a message from Eshu, and Eshu tells me to give him something specifically, normally I just give it to him, because when I hear Eshu, when I begin experiencing Eshu, when I'm having those conversations, but I'm not in my terreiro and I'm out in the real world, and Eshu begins giving me a message, I then, maybe depending on how elaborate it is, or depending on how whatever it is, I may check it with my shells. And normally from that, specifically with offerings, I don't believe that an offering from the heart necessarily needs to be checked with divination, depending on, but that does come in levels of offerings that are given to the spirits. If it is blood, normally we will use the shells just to consult, just to see if there's anything that we need to do in preparation, before, during, after, and we begin having those conversations at that point. As a Quimbadeiro that already has your spirits received, no, I think an offering from the heart, you can just go straight and give it to your spirits. Be that a food offering, an offering of alcohol, an offering of praise, an offering of song, any type of thing like that. Very important tool is the shells, or the chomoluncos. We use both. I use shells, my partner uses shells, the person that initiated, my partner, uses shells, and so on and so forth. So we give our spirits with one set of shells. You can see here, in the beginning I had normal cowries. At some point those accidentally were incinerated on my nganga, so I have now replaced them with just a hardier shell. This is a tiger cowrie shell. The back has been filed down, and we use these one set for all of the spirits to speak. And there is a particular manner by which your spirit that you're communicating with will answer you. And then we use this as a very black and white way sometimes to begin getting those answers, getting those yes or no responses, or oftentimes getting some information clarified, so that way we can then move forward with our conversation with our client, or the divination, whatever we're doing at that point. So divination in and of itself is a physical tool in Quimbanda, but it is also a spiritual, personal tool that the Quimbadeiro carries with them, because the manner that Eshu and Quimbadeiro speak is very telepathic at times. They may show you an image, they may show you a picture, they may show you an offering, they may show you an nganga. They may show you all of these different things, and then it's your job to clarify what that means. And the way by which we clarify is with the shells. So I also have my tarot cards. This is not particularly a tool of the Quimbadeiro tarot cards, no. However, the spirits will work with you through any form of divination. These are the tarot cards that I have had since I was 13 years old. This was the first deck that I ever bought for myself. This deck is a little complicated to read at times because of all of the imagery and all of the different things, but I like using them. I have kept them. This is what I use. These cards were never dedicated to any spirit until I became a Quimbadeiro. My Eshu, my primary spirit, Eshu Sete Pedras, is a spirit of divination, of alchemy, of science, of magic, and the intersection between those two things. So these cards, instantly, I felt then Eshu picked them up, if you will, and then they became a tool of his. So these cards have slept on my nganga. These cards have the ribbon around these cards is actually what I use to string my shells up and hang off of my ferramenta when my ngangas were fed last, just recently. So in addition to my shells being fed, my cards were fed in a way by the ribbon that keeps them bound up. And I have now, of course, dedicated these cards specifically to Sete Pedras, so when I use them, I am reading you or myself or whatever with my Eshu. Okay, all right. I'm getting a little whatever, so I'm going to go ahead. And light up my cigarette. Normally I would be smoking a cigar or a cigarillo, but I forgot it and I don't feel like pausing and stopping to go and get it. So, Saravá Eshu, salve Pompagira. Okay, so tools of the Quimbadeiro. The next tool that we are going to talk about is the sacrificial knife. This is the knife that was used when my spirits were fed by my hands for the first time a year and a